Hello and welcome everybody to this HeflaTV presentation of the Vietnam Esports Champions League. This will be a best of one series between Mineski and Invasion Esports in the lower bracket round 2. And man, I'm just so happy that we finally got this game underway. But me, I'm Coucher and I'm not alone, as joining me for this will be Whiplash.
Couchshore, we're in the game finally. It took us like almost an hour, but we're finally here. All the players, they had to update their computers and a whole slew of problems involving that kind of thing, but I'm glad that we're finally into it. We have some Southeast Asian teams now. Well, I guess more common ones as a comparison to the Vietnam teams or Vietnamese teams that we casted a little bit earlier, about almost an hour ago. So Mineski and Invasion, definitely two teams that are a little bit more familiar.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen both teams a couple of times, Invasion especially recently. Although they do have two stand-ins and they're kind of missing their so-called star mid player, which is Imba. So it's a little bit harder for them. Although Mineski, I'm not too sure if the players they're playing with at the moment will be the finalized roster because they are in the middle of actually changing it up. But yeah, we will see as Lycan as well as Doombringer banned out, so at least they're starting pretty standard.
Yeah, no surprises there whatsoever. We'll see if there's any surprises in the second two bands. Yeah, Panda, no surprise there, and Naga Siren, not a huge surprise there. I believe is it Jesse Vash that likes to play that hero? I can't recall. I have not casted Mineski in I think maybe about 2 months now, so it's been a little bit for me in Mineski.
Oh yeah. But, well, Mineski, they start with a Tide Hunter. It is a really strong hero, both laning wise as well as team fight. But, actually, I guess a Batrider is available if they want to, as is the Centaur, Mirana, Shadow Demon, whatever they may want to go for. Although,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that really counters a Tide Hunter anyway, I guess. Maybe Faceless Void is actually available.
Interesting. So Invasion picking up two kind of aggressive heroes that can be pretty powerful in the earlier stages of the game. We'll see if they want to run this Viper mid or if they prefer the safe lane. But personally, I feel he's great in that mid lane role. It's now they didn't show any supports, but they kind of already picked out two of their possible cores. So, do you think this is kind of revealing a little bit of what Invasion has in mind for their overall strategy and plan?
Well, it definitely indicates that they probably want to fight early and they just want to have the tanky heroes in the front lines. And maybe they're gonna go for something, maybe, hopefully even something like a sniper. So that Bristleback and Viper are just creating chaos in the front lines and Sniper just picks everybody up from the back or something.
Yeah, and both of those heroes for Invasion are good mech carriers. Generally, they get the mech earlier on into the game, so I guess one of them will have a little bit of extra wiggle room. I'm assuming the Bristleback, maybe he'll just go for like an earlier Vanguard or something. It's a Radiant, they grab the Treant Protector, so it's just a straight up tankiness on both ends with hard to kill heroes, a lot of survivability on both ends, and they're both looking, I guess pretty solid for earlier fights.
Oh yeah. And actually, it's not that often that you see both teams starting with such tanky heroes as they have so far. I mean, usually we have a little, not so much as a bet, but every now and then, when you see the tankier lineups, it's like a 75% win for tankier lineups, it feels like. And well, so far it's actually hard to tell who has the tankier side. But that's just
Yeah,
a small side thing anyway.
it is. I think it'll depend more on the rest of the lineup. It's Invoker as well as the Ember Spirit being banned out by Mineski. And on the other end, Invasion, they say goodbye Tinker, goodbye Razor. We don't want any of you coming into our game. They'll follow it up with the Shadow Shaman pick. So continuing that theme of a lot of aggression in the earlier stages, those Smash Serpent wards will be very good for pushing down early towers as well as in team fights. Gives them, one of their supports and a lot of disables. So I do like the Shadow Shaman pickup.
Yeah, I think it's pretty nice, especially against the Treant Protector, because otherwise the Treant is just going to heal up the towers, but with the Mass Serpent wards you can ensure that you can most likely at least kill off the tower for sure. As well as, yes, the Tide Hunter has the Kraken Shell, you can't maybe stun lock him or anything, but you can still ward trap him and they can't get out of it even if he Kraken Shells. But of course,
Yeah.
that's a small chance of actually taking place in the middle of the game.
I think the Jakiro could have also been a good pickup for Invasion as kind of a way to counter that living armor since Liquid Fire each tick removes one of the I guess the living armor stacks. And who knows, maybe they'll even add that into their lineup and give themselves even more pushing power. But from Mineski, they've picked up the Nature's Prophet. So now they got some pushing power of their own. And Invasion, they followed up with the Enchantress. So, I mean, just they got a mobile and a very aggressive team early on the fight. It's looking pretty scary from Invasion.
Oh yeah, it certainly is. And although Mineski they went for Nature's Prophet, so getting some push of their own, I think Invasion can definitely get online with their own push a little bit faster. Because Nature's Prophet, yes, his split push is good, but it needs a couple of levels, some items for it as well for it actually to be successful. And man, Invasion, it's actually kind of resembling a Titan kind of lineup for me because they used to run the Shadow Shaman and the Enchantress so damn often. Just early aggression and I mean all of their four heroes kind of scream for early fights.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do recall them running a lineup very similar to that. And let's see, so with those heroes picked up currently, what do you think Invasion wants to round up their lineup with? It looks like they may pick up another core, whether it be a safe laner or the mid lane.
Well, actually, I guess there's a small chance that they might want to go Pugna if they want to just strengthen their push a little bit. Or I guess they could run like Death Prophet mid and Viper farm on the safe lane instead of Viper being mid. But
I
that just
would.
depends on how push heavy Invasion actually wants to go, how many AX they want to put in that basket.
That's true. I would like the Death Prophet pickup at Mineski. They've grabbed the Ancient Apparition, and this kind of gives them a lot more global presence. That combined with Nature's Prophet teleporting around and using Wrath of Nature, it's a lot of AoE damage that can hit targets really far, basically anywhere on the map if timed correctly. And I suppose that can help out slightly with counter pushing and just overall early lanes and team fighting. But this Nature's Prophet, to me, it's looking like it may end up in the mid lane, either him or the Tide Hunter, actually.
Oh yeah, it's something that you don't see that often at all. But I think Mineski is probably the team I've seen it run it most. At least recently. Wow, Invasion, they go for a Timber so as their last one. Oh man.
Smart pick. Very smart pick. I think this synergizes really well with their lineup. Gives them a little bit more push power, some AoE. His Whirling Death ability will be great against the Tide as well as Treant and Nature's Prophet Sprout. So a really solid last pick from Invasion. I am totally loving this.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree because Ancient Aberration gets completely blown up by Timber, so really good to stop the push from Nature's Prophet. Just set your Chakram down at the tower and every creep just dies. And of course, Treant Protector and Tide Hunter being strength heroes, Timber Saw's Whirling Death lasts a little bit extra with the 15% stat reduction. But man, overall, to be honest, Mineski, the Ancient Apparition and the Treant, they aren't as strong as a supporting duo, so to say, because their roaming potential actually isn't good at all. And nor do they have any setup by the Nature's Prophet or the Tide Hunter really on the other lanes, even if they roam. So Mineski, they're just so reliant on surviving the early to mid game and not losing too many towers, but I just feel like they don't have too much to actually defend it.
Yeah, I would say that if there wasn't a Shadow Shaman on the other team, then it would be a little bit, well, not a little bit, I think it would be a lot easier to defend their towers early on, especially with Nature's Prophet making a few of his treants in addition to that living armor. But I guess kind of without, or I guess with having to deal with those Mass Serpent wards, this may be a little bit harder for Mineski to deal with, but overall lineup-wise, I am favoring Invasion a little bit more, but Mineski, they still have some really good late game, and I suppose Invasion may fall off a little bit in the later stages compared to their opponents, especially if like this Ancient Apparition gets Nagdom Scepter, you get Refresher on Tide, things like that, along with, of course, obviously a Formed Morphling or Nature's Prophet. That can be a very scary late game team, and we'll have to see if Mineski can go ahead and bring it that way.
Oh yeah, I kind of agree. It just comes down to whether or how well their aggressive trialing is going to work. Because if the Ancient Apparition doesn't hit that level 6 within a decent timing, the effectiveness of that spell actually diminishes quite greatly. But oh, free, for free? Never mind. Not going to get scouted out. And even if he was, I don't think Mineski could have killed him either way. But to introduce the lineups fast, for the Radiant side, on Mineski, Waqt, W-A-Q-T, playing on the Ancient Apparition, Chaco, up on the Morphling, leaving Aim on the Tree and Protector with mid lane, taken by Chesivash, and solo safe lane by Jay on the Nature's Prophet.
And if we go ahead to the dire end, checking out Invasion, we have the Viper played as... okay, this is kind of hard to pronounce. ADTR number 1301. So I'll just call him 1301. And over in the safe lane, we have Tespin G as the Shadow Shaman. I believe we have a few more stand-ins here. And 343 will be the Bristleback in the safe lane. Enchantress going for a bit of offensive jungling, and that will be played by FC. And then finally we have Timbersaw in the off lane, and that will be Ghost.
Actually, I think mid lane is just ADTR. The numbers are kind of random.
Okay, well, I'll call him ADTR. I guess that's a bit easier.
Yeah, and usually I think he has been the support player, but since their own mid player is at the moment 6, so swapping up the roles a little bit with their stand-ins as well. And if I'm not mistaken, both the stand-ins are actually from the same team in stacks. At least they were tagged up like that in the lobby.
Okay. Cool. So at least there will be a little bit synergy, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess maybe that may be the reasoning why they're actually laning together as well. Although against an aggressive tri lane, Shadow Shaman actually isn't all that great, especially if you're having a dual lane. So he's just doing all he can, pulling up the creep, although it's only a single pull anyway. So all it's going to result in the end is just going to push out the lane even more.
Yeah. As far as this offensive tri-lane from Mineski is concerned, though, the Treant and Ancient Apparition can be a pretty darn potent combination. Once you get, I think level 2 or 3, and you can slow them with Leech Seed and then use the Cold Feet, and then you get Chilling Touch on everyone, and the tree's basically hitting for 100 damage a hit. It's ridiculous. And let's not forget Morphling, who can, use Waveform early on if he needs and throw in a few right clicks. So I would say there's definitely some kill potential in this top lane against the Bristleback.
Man, this pause, I was actually thinking that probably Mineski has vision of the centaur now, but actually if you toggle the vision, the centaur is just out of the tower range, or the vision range of the tower. Oh man, Chisiva, she might get caught. He's already slowed down by the poison attack of ADTR. If the centaur gets in position, it should be an easy kill on Chesivash for the first blood.
At least he has the Kraken Shell, but if the sun goes off at the right time, then yeah, he's already almost down to half health. And he'll be slowed up a little bit. The stomp will fall up as well, but I mean, he's still pretty darn tanky. A little bit of body blocking from this Wild Ring, and can they actually get him? And yes, they will. First blood being scored by the Enchantress, but uh-oh, this is actually really bad. Jay comes in, and he's already getting chased back. This may end up being a double kill, and it will be one. The Enchantress doesn't even die. Oh man, that was just not the smartest play from this Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, I mean, Nature's Prophet, yes, the TP is a really good ability to have, but you only have your right-click damage to just help you out with the kills, which isn't all that great early on anyway. So he definitely thought that Enchantress maybe is gonna stay around under the tower for a little while longer or something. And actually one huge thing that when they actually went for the early kill as well, the Satire, it didn't do too much for them, but at least it tanked up a lot of the tower hits instead of the Enchantress. So just, yeah. I mean, not Satire, the Wild King Ripper, whatever it's called, Wild Wing Ripper, I don't know, man. They've changed the names too much.
I believe it's the Wild Wing Ripper.
Yeah, so that's just completely was there purely to tank it up, although Zepeng might be in trouble. The lead sheet is gonna come out, the right clicks, well, I'm not too sure if it's gonna be enough anyway.
He's really far away. I mean, the right clicks are doing a lot of damage, but okay, they'll use Cold Feet as well. There's no boots on this guy. And they have to dive really far if they want that. And with an Enchantress in the jungle, as well as a tanky Bristleback, who's now actually has managed to cancel the healing salve. And Centaur coming in as well. This could actually be dangerous, but I think the supports may be okay. But the Quill Sprays, it's starting to stack up. Nature's Prophet kind of scaring them off. And even Tidehunter joining the fight as well. But doesn't look like we're seeing any kills from either side.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, definitely Invasion having the upper hand on most every lane, especially since Ghost on the bottom lane of the Timber, so he's just having free time, especially since Jay TP'd out of the lane and died on top of that. So 17 and 7 on the Timber, so compared to 8 and 3 on the Nature's Prophet. So he's probably looking towards early Arcane Boots just to spam out the spells even more.
Of course, and even in this lane matchup, Timbersaw does just fine against the Prophet. He can get in his last hits most of the time, get some denies, and especially if he wants the point, like put an extra point in reactive armor or something. So he shouldn't be afraid of anything except for maybe some type of rotation, which we probably won't be seeing from Mineski, based on the fact that they have an offensive tri-lane. As I say that, they use the smoke, so maybe they'll head down mid lane or into the enemy jungle to try to snag a kill.
Oh man, getting mid lane, it's not gonna be easy for another 20 seconds or so as the haste rune is on ADTR. And actually mid lane wise, just checking out the farm, 25 and 7 up on ADTR with Chesivash sitting on 13 and 2. So the Tidehunter, he's really struggling after having given away the first blood. Although the smoke, man, for Mineski's sake, I really hope that this smoke will work out. But it's gonna wear off, so...
Yeah, it's basically done. Yep, smoke revealed. So no ganks happening in top. And this Bristleback, he's actually getting pretty comparable farm to this Morphling, despite it being an offensive tri-lane that's supposed to do some damage. We do have Nature's Prophet teleporting to mid lane, and we'll see a Gush on the Viper. He's just going the TP away, and very smart. There are actually no stuns nearby to stop him from teleporting out of there, so he escapes A-OK. The supports had to leave the lane. They accomplished nothing. Same with the Nature's Prophet. It definitely was a great scenario and a great trade for the Viper.
Oh yeah, and to be honest, I didn't even think about it before, but Mineski, their only stun is the Ravage. Yes, they have the cold feet as well, but it takes 4 seconds before it actually stuns you in place, so you can easily TP out from anything Mineski has to throw at you. So if there's not enough burst damage or just physical damage to bring you down, but oh, bot on HA! He's getting slowed up by the Chakram, should be an easy kill.
Yeah, and indeed it is an easy kill, as they take out the Nature's Prophet. It's weird, we're seeing, I feel like a bit of a sloppy play almost from this Prophet. And Invasion, currently, they're just kind of walking all over Mineski as it's already 3-0, and they're doing pretty darn good. I think they've basically won all their lanes at this point.
It's hard to argue with that, because like you mentioned as well, I mean, free for free, getting so much farm on the Bristleback, although he is up against the aggressive.
Bottom lane, they're slowing down the Nature's Prophet, but just not enough mana on this Timbersaw. If he had his mana boots, maybe he could do something. That's not happening. Meanwhile, top lane though, there is a bit of trades back and forth. Gym Protector actually really low on health. Viper comes in, we'll get a kill there. This is going to be a double actually, as the Apparition goes down now 5-0. Maybe they'll go on Jacko. We'll have to wait for it out of here. The somewhere where they put down the Viper Strike, but he'll use his one, teleport away as well. Can they actually kill him though? Yes! They can, thanks to the Nether Toxin as well as just the straight up DPS. This is just turning into a disaster for Mineski.
And 7 minutes in, 6-0. It's been quite a while since I've seen such a huge difference, or you can't even call it a difference when the enemy team has 0 kills. Oh wow. And now FCFC actually runs into Chesivash. Well, he's definitely not going to be able to take on the Tidehunter solo, but still just zoning him out of the mid lane. And Tidehunter, well, he needs to start getting active soon, getting kills with the Ravage, because any kills will help, especially for the XP of the supports.
Yeah. Well, I guess Couchshore, one good thing for Mineski to look forward to. On paper, they have the better late game team, so if they can just somehow stall until then, using maybe a bit of living armor to buy some time, maybe they can accomplish something, crawl back into the game. But as it stands, Invasion has a really solid early mid-game team. They're still, packed somewhat of a punch later on as well, pending this Morphling doesn't get too farmed up. So, it's still a tall order, I would say, for Mineski.
Oh, and mid lane we're gonna see a huge clash probably. Ghost goes in, Chakram not even used, or rather, it's on cooldown. There's the Ravage onto 2 heroes as well. Ghost, he's probably gonna fall the Timber Chain. No, it's not gonna be enough. And mid lane, ADTR, never mind. He's actually going for the counter kill. A few more right clicks, he's gonna drop down thanks to the Nether Toxin, but now, is he gonna lose his life in return? He has a killing spree, Gush to slow him down. And yeah, it should be a kill though. Never mind, Leech, it is there. A few right clicks. Man, he survived for so long, but that was probably, well not probably, but definitely not worth it for the Invasion.
Yeah, that felt a little weird that the Viper went in and just decided to say, you know what, I'm gonna go in there. But if we take a look at top lane, we see Invasion heavily pushing this tier 1 tower, so it could have been, space created just this time from the mid lane. And Nature's Prophet attempts to do the deny, but he doesn't get it.
Yeah, and that's actually already 2 towers down for Invasion, and of course, they do have the Enchantress, and Shadow Shaman is not even level 6 yet, actually, he's only level 4. But there is a mech on Viper now, so that's definitely gonna help out both their team fight as well as their push. But Mineski, at least they got some room to breathe now with the 2 kills that they got mid lane.
And with the mech being picked up by Viper, that frees up this Bristleback to go for an earlier Vanguard, as well as some power treads. And as soon as we see level 6 on this Shadow Shaman, I'm pretty sure the tier 2 towers will become, quite endangered on Mineski's end.
Oh, the Ghost, never mind, he's not gonna follow up on Ancient Apparition. They did get the kill on the Tidehunter though, together with ADTR. And this Timber Summon, he's a really snowballing type of hero. And he's snowballing hard, although he did die, he's still the top farmer in the game. He has the most last hits, as well as 2 kills to his name and 1 assist. And he's going for straight up Bloodstone as well.
And if we can just check out Invasion, man. Look at how much control they have over this game. They're being so aggressive around this tier 1 tower, running in between the tier 1 and tier 2. They get the kill on that, and simply Mineski, they can't do anything without Ravage, I feel, as far as these team fights are concerned. And Ancient Apparition is yet to hit level 6, so there's no Ice Blast to help out as well against these pushes.
Yeah, you have to agree that I think that Ancient Apparition should be left like one lane to just get XP, except for the mid lane now. Just he needs that level 6. Without that, their team fight is non-existent without the Ravage, like you mentioned as well. And Ghost just keeps on farming up. Actually, if he just wants to disassemble his Arcane Boots, he can finish up the Soul
Mid
Booster.
lane, the Ghost could be in a bit of trouble. He'll get slowed up, but once again, we have the problem. There's really no stuns. And this Timber Saw, can he actually Timber Shine away? No, they use the Ravage. They really wanted that kill. They get it, but is it really worth it? That's I'm not sure if we see Invasion push really fast, they won't have Ravage for another 135 seconds.
Yeah, Invasion they definitely can go push now, although pushing tier 2 is a little bit more complicated than tier 1s, of course. And still Shadow Shaman, he's level 4.5. So I guess his level 6 definitely would have been able to make them just get a counter tower easily. But Bristleback, he's doing his best trying to push out the top lane.
Yeah, he is. He's actually gotten 3 Mineski players to come to the bottom lane.
And this... Just look at the net worth chart. The top 4 players, they're all from Invasion. Of course, I guess it's kind of a given when all the tier 1 towers have gone down already. Just so much global gold, as well as you having both the last hit as well as the kill advantage. But the graphs, 8,000 gold lead for Invasion, XP 5,000 or so. And this early on into the game, 12 minutes in, I'm not too sure about the statistics, but I'm pretty sure that the comeback statistics from such a deficit is pretty damn low.
Well, Shadow Shaman's still yet to hit level 6 at this point. And the top tower of the siege will start. They use the fortification. And let's see, this Ancient Apparition still lacking that level 6. We'll see Viper Strike go on the Tidehunter. Remember, he doesn't have Ravage available. And they'll slow him up a little bit, but he's A-okay. And yeah, they're just able to basically right-click that Tidehunter down. He's died 3 times now, and it just feels like he kind of slowly runs away, but can't necessarily escape Invasion. And now the tier 2 tower at the bottom lane is looking to go down pretty much defenseless.
This is just kind of sad to watch. Ancient Apparition still not level 6, neither is the Treant Protector. Bristleback just having his own way on the top lane. With the Vanguard, I don't think... I mean, even if they spend the Ravage, it's kind of iffy if they can kill the Bristleback if he has his back turned. Although he actually only has 2 points into Bristleback. So he's put 2 points into Vicious Nasal Goo, going for a really aggressive skill build as well.
Yeah, and with the lineup that they have, I don't see why not. They wanted to do these fights early on. They want to put the aggression on, and a few earlier points in that Nasal Glue. I can see being a little bit more useful than Bristleback, especially with him getting such an early Vanguard.
Oh, I really like what Ghost just did now as well. He dropped down his point booster to activate his Arcane Boots just so he would get a little bit more efficiency out of that item. So just doing the small things as well here.
Well, Bristleback is kind of, I guess, causing havoc in the top lane. We do have most of Invasion at the Roshan pit, and we've had that Shadow Shaman finally level 6, and Enchantress with the untouchable abilities making Roshan do pretty much no damage. So this should be a very easy Aegis for Invasion, and pretty much unpunishable by Mineski.
And they're just confined to their own part of the map, rather the quarter part of their map side. Because once they go past a certain line, they're just so easy to pick off because they have no escape mechanisms at all, apart from the Morphling, I guess, just waveforming away. And I mean, Morphling, he's probably gonna go for a Lincoln Sphere. Although, what's the Lincoln Sphere actually gonna do to you? Vicious Nasal Goo is just one of the best abilities to get rid of that buff of the Lincolns.
That's true. I guess this may be a game where it's not the most useful ability. And, I mean, Morphling he doesn't really have any farm this game as well. And as I say that, you know, this Bristleback is already just chasing him away. He's level 9, he has a wand, Ring of Aquila, Power Treads, and working into that Lincoln Sphere, but still quite low on the farm. And oh man, Timbersaw just blows him up, goes in there, basically uses all of his abilities. It's looking so dire for Mineski. 3-11, they're just getting completely ran over.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna lose the tier 2 here top lane as well. I mean, they have the Ravage, but when they're up against 5 heroes, even the Ravage probably won't do anything to them. They have to find like 2 heroes, I think would be the optimal for them. Just finding 2 heroes, pop the Ravage, get the 2 kills fast. But just the front line of Invasion now, the Timbersaw with his Bloodstone finished, Mech on ADTR of course, and the Bristleback with the Vanguard. Just they can tank it up in the front lines forever and ever, and they have the Mass Serpent Wars off cooldown. So they're probably gonna pressure tier 3s already, I think.
We already see Mineski saying, okay, you know what? We're not even going to defend any of the tier 2s. We'll defend on the high ground. That's where we will make our stand. And if we can't do it there, we can't do it anywhere. Look at Invasion. They put the wards up by the tower, now giving them, I guess, an advantage even by the tower. But they'll go ahead, throw out the Ice Blast onto this Viper, who's getting pretty low in health. It may end up dying, but still, regardless, he is able to throw out a lot of DPS. They get the Treant Protector. Aegis is popped, finally on the Viper. We still have Ravage available, but I don't even think it matters.
Yeah, I mean, they need the Ravage plus the Ice Blast to actually have a chance, because if they only have the Ravage, the mech is just gonna come out from the Viper, negate all of the damage from that. And now there's already Blink Dagger and Shadow Shaman as well. The melee Rex fall down, range Rex to fall short, yes, ADTR. Well, he just buys a TP from the enemy base.
Well, he's taking a lot of damage. The Ravage will follow up as well. He doesn't get the mech off. And okay, there he goes. He uses it at the last second, but he will probably still shatter from the look of things. And the rest of Invasion, they're going to come in and try to do some work, but Shadow Shaman ends up dying. This Bristleback's down to half health. Percy Badge, the Tide Hunter, he's getting extremely low. One more hit. No, he's able to just narrowly survive thanks to the mechanism. Enchantress teleports away, but the damage has been done. Couchshore, the tier 3 barracks and tower are gone at 16 minutes into the game. And this Nature's Prophet that was pushing middle throughout part of that earlier team fight, he didn't even get the middle tower.
Oh wow, I mean, it just doesn't have the items to support the push. Yes, he has the Hand of Midas for just extra attack speed, I guess, a little bit. But there's no Maelstrom to get rid of the creep wave fast, no Desolator to help out with the tower push or anything. So it's just not gonna be effective for quite some time. Although mid lane they want to chase Ghost, but no Blink Dagger on Tide Hunter, just no way, even with the Ice Blast connecting. And although Invasion, they actually lost their Courier, as well as a couple of heroes with that push, but still getting Grax like 60 minutes into the game, it's so huge, especially considering that Mineski, they don't have any massive counter push at all.
Yeah, and I mean, the graph's still the story as well. About 10,000 experience difference in Invasion's favor, and they have almost a 20k gold advantage to follow that up. The tier 2 tower looking like it's not long for this world. That should fall very shortly, as Mineski has already kind of shown us that they're only wanting to defend at the tier 3s. Tidehunter Ravage still on cooldown for 51 seconds. There's not too many huge cooldowns that Invasion actually have to worry about when it comes to these team fights. I guess save Mass Serpent Ward, and we already see that's available.
Yeah, and I really love drafts like that overall, when you can just fight constantly. And I guess they drafted that way as well, because not only did they go for the heroes that can fight constantly, they have the push on top of that. And like you mentioned, I mean, Mass Serpent Ward's more or less just the only thing that they have to wait for maybe, but even that's not a given, because even without the Mass Serpent Wards, they just have enough sustain with the mech, with just actually having a Satyr as well for extra health regen aura. So
yeah, and even Nature's Attendance from the Enchantress as well, providing more healing on the top of that. So they have all the tools they need if they want to sustain a team fight. barring they all don't get hit by the Ancient Apparition's Ice Blast. And we'll see, looks like they want to just go ahead, go on this tier 3 tower. They put down the wards, a very aggressive blink forward from Timbersaw, just to kind of zone out the opponents. Look at this, Mineski are just, they're pushing straight down middle lane, but what can they really hope to accomplish from this?
Well, even if they get the tier 2, just losing racks for it, man. But they can't fight either, so they're kind of between a rock and a hard place, I guess. But this is definitely the wrong decision here.
It's pretty much over at this point. Tidehunter has Ravage available though, and they just completely blow up that apparition before he can even accomplish anything. Just the straight up burst from Timbersaw. The tier 3 fall, and oh, hold on a second. We'll see Nationers, Strand Protector use Overgrowth a few TPs away, and absolutely no follow up. So yeah, kind of weird. We'll see Shadow Shaman actually go on this Morphling. And he decides to just go ahead and go back to his main base.
Oh man, just 2 racks behind 20 minutes into the game. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna be extremely surprised if Mineski manages to come back into this game. I mean, they can definitely turtle for quite some time, potentially. Although Jesivash, the Aghanim Scepter Enchantress, way too much damage with the impetus. Just Chakram, he couldn't even run out from it.
I don't know what to say, man. It's just kind of, unfortunately, it seems to be kind of a bit of a sad game from Mineski. Timbersaw getting a bit aggressive. We'll see, actually, some members from Mineski go onto him and chances they're trying to chase down this apparition. He decides to back off at the same time as the Strand's able to help him out a little bit. At this skirmish, we may actually see a kill onto the Timbersaw, especially with the Ice Blast. Does connect somewhat. Will he actually shatter? That's the question. And as I say, that Ancient Enchantress is able to get a kill on the Chain Protector. It's just kind of... I'm feeling like it's basically over at this point, Couchshore.
Oh yeah, man. This is just kind of devastating to watch already. I mean, you couldn't even get the invis off. Just the impetus doing too much damage, especially the pure damage aspect of it. Oh man, and Timbersaw suddenly 2.8k gold. But Whiplash, if Mineski were to come back, what do they have to do for it, man? I guess just 5-man Ravage into 5-man Ice Blast and fingers crossed.
No, what they need to do is they need to force everybody on the opposite team to like have their internet disconnect. Barring that, there's no way they can win. This game is... You can put this one in the books, it's basically over. The tier 3 falls, the melee and ranged barracks are about to fall as well. It's just a formality at this point. Really, overall, Mineski, it seemed like a lot of their weakness did come from the draft. They just didn't have enough early game presence to really deal with the heroes and the push that Invasion provided. And I mean, if you look at Morphling, he's a hero that definitely needs to get his farm early on. He doesn't want to be too active. The rest of the heroes can kind of do stuff, at least when they hit level 6, but really there's, I guess, the Morphling and the lack of a lot of other really strong early game heroes really hurt out Mineski.
Yeah, it felt at the moment that Mineski, they just had a draft in mind that they wanted to go for, but they didn't draft accordingly to the enemy, so they weren't playing the reactionary draft style. Instead, they're just, okay, we've thought about a certain draft strategy, we're just gonna go for that no matter what the enemy goes for. But they just didn't match at all.
Not to mention this Enchantress did great work with a lot of aggressive positioning in the earlier stages, and Timbersaw having a really easy time in the offlane. Just the draft, the lanes went pretty darn well for Invasion, and it didn't really seem like Mineski were kind of up to par as far as the actual skill was going, just based on the single best of one. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it then for this best of one in the Vietnamese Esports Champions League. I'm Whiplash. You can follow me at Whiplash. And where can they find you, Couchshore?
Just at Couchshore on Twitter. Just any feedback, positive, negative, doesn't matter. You can still leave it there. But yeah, guys.
No, man, I only want positive feedback, by the way. Don't give me any negative.
But yeah, guys, thanks so much for tuning in and just waiting with us as we waited for Mineski and Invasion both to just fix their client updates, PC issues, whatever they may have been. But this is going to be it for us for the day, as we're just going to prepare everybody for TI4, I guess. Just excited.
I know it's coming. I think an hour and a half from now, approximately, is when TI is coming. So I'm glad that for those of you who wanted to get a little bit of a Dota fix in beforehand, thanks for tuning in. And I guess Everybody here, I'm assuming, will be watching TI, so I can't wait to watch it
Yes.
along with you guys there.
Indeed. So guys, this is gonna be it for us. Like I mentioned already, if you liked us, be sure to follow us on this channel as well as HeflaTV too, and check out our social media. You can find all the links below the stream anyway. And if you want to support the casters directly, you can subscribe, which will allow you to get some cool subscriber emotes as well. And we have more coming in the future, plus future giveaways. So if you're feeling generous, you can do that. But still, even the follows help us a great deal. But just a few songs to finish up the stream now.